I've seen a lot of confusion in my YouTube comments about what a decision actually is. So rather than get into flame wars in the comments, I decided to make this video. You can tell a lot about somebody from the conclusions that they jump to. People often tend to evaluate bad decisions, both in role-playing games and real life, within a very narrow time frame, typically within only 1 or 2 steps. And they often do this because it helps them evade responsibility, although that might not even be a conscious thing. But if you look into the past, you can see that there were often many contributing factors that added to the equation. So when you look back and you say, how could I have known that that would happen? You're often ignoring all of the factors before the point in time that you have chosen to evaluate. As I discussed in Adventure Design 101, many people are playing cinematic designs where the GM is only presenting them with appropriate encounters for their current capabilities, which means that they should just assume that they can take on whatever is in front of them at the moment. Even outside of cinematic styles, many GMs also calibrate their encounters to align with the methods developed in many video games, where the challenges always seem to roughly match the player's current capabilities, no matter which direction they go. And this is in contrast with the traditional D&D design of an open world where many things may simply be too powerful for you to fight at your current power level. Choosing what to do next is a real decision. If you decide to head south and you enter bugbear territory and they kill a few of your party members, well, that was not something random that happened to you. That was a failure on your part to gather information and act accordingly. The players need information to make good decisions, and that's why I advocate for modules to provide it in the form of rumors, NPC conversations, and written in-game material. Just having a road in the center of this map adds decision depth, and parties can make scouting forays into different terrain types to assess the danger for themselves beyond what they just hear from NPCs. And if I describe a gleaming gem lying on the floor surrounded by dozens of skeletal remains and you pick it up, if the gem has deadly magic that kills you, that's not a random murder by the GM. Some things have inherent danger that should be obvious to anyone playing the game, and in the face of that danger, you should take precautions. The most well-known example of this is the green devil face in the Tomb of Horrors. People tell me that I should feel bad for players who stick their head in the mouth of this face and get it eaten. I just don't. Sorry. It obviously has inherent danger. Don't stick your head into a giant statue's mouth. But what are the consequences of ignoring these kind of factors? Consider 2 setups. One where you encounter a danger that you only get 1 or maybe 2 checks to avoid, or it kills you. Now, success is hard to achieve, so to improve your odds, you're going to prepare first. Or alternatively, there could be dangers that you can make multiple checks to limit or evade. They're easier to deal with. Since success comes easier, you rarely suffer any losses and you get around all of these problems. But the consequence is that you do not prepare before you go to face these kind of dangers. What happens in the long run is that you remove the need for engaging deeply with the NPCs and turning them into allies and contacts to use the information that they have. Because whatever threat emerges, you've got it handled. And the NPCs just become an aesthetic element of that world, a world that they don't need to investigate or assess because they can always count on it being appropriate for their power level. And so they stop improving as a player of the game, not as a character, as a player. You have actually removed the impact of player skills. And people tell me that I don't encourage enough role playing. You see, if you make these decisions matter, really matter, life and death matter, players will invest time and energy in improving them. But if you see a situation and you only focused on the last decision point, I infer from your game that you are not expecting players to be in control. You're leading them along a path so that the only mistakes they can even make occur in the final moments before this incident. And when they don't have grenades, it feels like it was an arbitrary requirement. Whereas if they had plenty of opportunity to purchase and carry grenades, and then they find themselves in a situation where they need to have a grenade, well, that's on them. You have to give them space to do that, but that inherently also means that sometimes they won't have brought grenades. When I laid out the adventurer's journey, I was clear that this part, investigation of the threat, is essential, and the only way to make it essential is to occasionally make unknown factors necessary to find and deal with before the larger danger can be resolved. They have to develop the player skill to know when something seems innocent but should be handled with caution, that some places are obviously unsafe and entering them will be a serious ordeal, and that not every death is a glorious ride into the Elysium fields. So I hope that's enough fuel for the fire for now. I enjoy all of your comments. Please keep them coming. I will need them in the coming days of family and togetherness this holiday season. Chubby Funster out.